Hey guys, what's going on? Hey, both of the CT70s, yeah, that guy, and the green one over there, I think they're a little lean on the bottom end, so I'm gonna take the carbs off and up the pilot jet size, one size I believe, maybe two, but we'll start with one. And if that's not right, I mean, it's so easy to take the carburetors off these and swap out the jets that it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, let's take a look. All right, here we are. I have disconnected the fuel line. Of course, you want to shut off the fuel first, right? Drained it into my little cup. And I removed the slide. On the blue one here, if you remember on the other video, I was able to use the stock CT70 Champion, whatever this thing is, throttle and throttle cable. I was able to drill out the top so that it fit in, and the length was good. So that worked out pretty well for this Nibbi. The bikes run 1,000% better with a Nibbi carburetor, but I think you can go too big. The green bike carburetor might be slightly too big. I think it's a 24 millimeter. I believe this one is a 22. This bike runs a little better, I believe, while the green bike goes a little faster on the top end. Anyway, so yeah, let's get this carburetor taken off and check this pilot jet size. 2 bolts, 2 nuts, it's off. It's that simple. Well, after you take the slide out and disconnect the fuel line. But we already talked about that. So you guys should already be there, right? Right. All right, let's pop the carb off. Okay, there we go. Yeah, thought that looked a little weird, but nope, it's fine. Let's turn this upside down and see what comes out. I mean, I think I drained the carburetor. So, oh, there we go. I did not drain the carburetor, but now I am draining the carburetor. And that looks horrible. Even though I have filters, I don't know, must be some rust in these tanks. All right, we'll pop the bowl off, see what we got for jets. Stand by. Well, I don't know if you can see in there, but there were some particulates in there, so I'm gonna have to clean this up, pop that float off, blow everything out, make sure everything's clear. Kind of sucks. Particulates getting by the fuel filter? That's strange. Trying to put this back together. Everything looked good, everything blew out well. So these needle and seat guys, hopefully that's focusing. There's a wire you can kind of hang it on like a clothes hanger, and then you're gonna lower it into that hole right there and put the pin back in. Let's do that real quick. Pin's back in, seat's on, wiring's where it should be, or the little clothes hanger wires where it should be. For most Japanese and Japanese clone type carburetors, if you don't have the float level, one way to do this is you see that level line on that float, is if you take the carburetor and turn it 45 degrees to take some of the load off of it, you see it comes up a little bit right there. That line should be parallel with the base of the carburetor. And that's how you know your float level's either correct or very, very close to being correct. All right, let's pop this pilot jet out and see what we got. Looks like we have a 38. Let's go dig through the jet drawer. I found a 40 for the blue bike. And a 42 for the green bike. So yeah, let's do that. Don't forget your anti-cavitation. Kind of goes over here, presses down on there. And when the fuel's sloshing around in the float bowl, this kind of prevents you know, the waves inside this area. It kind of, well, it's anti-sloshing. That way your fuel flows more even. So float level's good. Pilot jet is replaced with a 40. Can we see what size main jet we have here. Just for the record, let me pop it out. Looks like we have a 105 main jet in the blue bike, and it runs pretty good. So that's a good starting point for you guys that run this, that want to put this. I think it's a 22 millimeter. If not, I'll correct the video right here. There will be links to all these Nibbi parts and jets in the description, by the way. So if you want to do this, then you can click away on Amazon. I will get a little bit of a commission at no extra price or cost to you. So yeah, anyway, so 105 and a 40 pilot jet, a 105 main and a 40 pilot in the blue bike and the Nibbi 22. Oh, and for the record, I looked it up. The blue bike has a 19 millimeter carb. The green bike has a 22. So yeah, 19 mil Nibbi, 105 main, 40 pilot, adjust your air screw as required, and run with the big dogs. Putting the carb back on. So there's an O-ring on here, right? So no gasket required. When you buy these kits for these Nibbi carbs, also you'll need to buy this intake manifold. I'll have a link to that. It will come with an insulator that has an O-ring on that side. So that goes against the manifold, and then the O-ring from the carburetor will seat against this side. Makes sense? And notice they're wonky, they're not centered. They're not symmetrical, they're asymmetrical. So get everything lined up right, and you know, do your thing with your nuts and bolts. All right, let's see if she's still cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. Fuel on, ignition on, choke on, key on. Fuel's flowing, looking good. Yeah, better, way better. Choke is off when I can rev it. Some of you hear me. I'm not sure if you could hear me, but the choke is off and I can rev it before it would just bog and die until it was warmed up. It's actually idling with the choke off. Barely. Air fuel probably needs a tweak, but I think we're good. Something to be aware of on the Nibbis. Back here, can you see it? Right there. The idle mixture screw is an air screw. So in to richen it and out to lean it out. If the mixture screw was on this side of the slide, you know, closer to the engine, it would be a fuel screw, and it would be the opposite, right? You would tighten it to lean it out, open it up to richen it up. But since the air screw is on the intake side, you tighten it to cut off air, loosen it to add more. Make sense? So I'm gonna let this warm up. I'll turn the idle up to about, I don't know, I'm gonna have to guess, earball it, 1200 RPM, and then play with the mixture until it peaks, and then go a little bit rich. A little bit, we're not fully warmed up, but no bog. I like it. Boom. Let's work on the green one. All right, big carb off. Let's look inside. Look at this gunk. And that is with a fuel filter installed. Man. I guess the very first thing you should do when you buy one of these things is put a fuel filter on it. I just put it in line right there. It's a little cartridge filter. I don't know how this stuff's getting through, if it is getting through. But yeah, that's pretty nasty. I wonder if anyone makes a plastic gas tank for these. so I can just rip that metal tank out and throw it and its rusty butt in the garbage can. Anyway, let's clean this up, check the float, check the needle out, make sure that's clear, check the float level, and then check the pilot size and the main size for you guys that want to put a, what did I say the other one was? A 19. This one's probably a 22. Stand by. All right, let's see what pilot jet was in the green bike. Looks like a 38. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that 42 in there. And there it is. And check the float level and put her back together. And for the record, a Nibbi 22. On a Champion CT70 Clone. It looks like I'm running on 105 on this one too. So I think 105 was a pretty good main size. Can we get that to show up? I think we can. There it is, 105. So yeah, let's put that back in. So here's a little pin you put back in, right, for the float. I don't know if I can do this with one hand or not. Probably not. Oh, there it goes. Maybe. Oh yeah, there we go. And it's just held in place by the shape of the bowl, right? The bowl's going to hold this from moving back and forth. And float level, not quite parallel. And a 45, it is parallel. So it's good. Don't forget your anti-splash shield. Goes on here. And the bowl goes back on. Be careful with the bowl though, because you've got this vent line. It kind of has to sneak its way by the float. So once you get this back on, you want to shake it up and down just a little bit to make sure the float is free, right? If you don't hear the float bouncing around in there, then you got a problem. Got to take it back apart. Let's do that. Okay, now that it's back on, screws are tightened, let's listen. Here, flop, flop, flop. So, float bowl's working, yay. Ready to go back on the bike. So I went ahead and installed a new fuel filter on this guy. The inside of this carb was much dirtier than the blue bike. Although the blue bike has only had a Nibbi carburetor on for maybe a couple hours. This Nibbi's been on this bike since the beginning. I just swapped it out right from the get-go. So what do we end up with? It's a 22 millimeter Nibbi with a 105 main and a 42 pilot. And make sure, I can't state this enough, put yourself a fuel filter on it. I'll put the link to these. These were Amazon fuel filters. I've found that these seem to be okay with the amount of alcohol that we sometimes get in our gas here, especially in California. Crappiest gas on the planet and the most expensive probably. Anyway, so I turned the fuel on, it filled up, carburetor's full of fuel probably. We'll back it up to the door over there, start it up, and see how she runs. Set the idle mixture screw at 2 open from close. Just an FYI. Guess I should open the garage. Choke on, ignition on, key on, fuel is on. Let's see what happens. Battery's almost dead. Whoa. That might be better than the blue bike. You might have to put a 42 in the blue. I mean, it's cold, and I have a little bit of throttle response. I kind of like that. That means it's a little rich, but warm up and see what it does. I need a bigger main. Now we got the pilot figured out. I thought a 107 or a 110 main would get rid of that last little bog it has. Although it's not bad. And it's not warmed up. Little bog. Nowhere near as bad as it used to be though. So good, good, good. Right direction. Gonna have to put this one on the battery tender. She wasn't too happy. Always wear it home. Well, I think that round of card cleaning slash rejetting was a complete success. The little green bike here might need a one size bigger on the main jet, but it runs pretty good. And if I go too rich down here close to sea level, I think I'm only 1,000 feet. When we go up in the mountains at 7,000 or 8,000 feet, they're pretty fat. So I don't know, maybe I'll leave it where it's at for all around operation here at 1,000 feet and at 7,000 or 8,000 feet, right? Anyway, like I said earlier, I'm going to put links to all these things. They're Amazon links. They are affiliate links, so I get a small commission if you click on my link and then buy a product, which really helps. Okay, it doesn't cost you anything extra. I just get a small commission from Amazon and or the retailer who sells the product. And I guess that concludes this session of CT70 maintenance. Carburetors off, rejetted, put back on, and adjusted. Yeah. Anyway, hope you guys liked it. If you did, thumbs up. And if you haven't, subscribe. I'm going to try to do more CT70 content. I don't know what else I can do. I've got to put a swing arm on the blue guy. So that might be the next thing I do. The little bushings in the back, they're a known problem, right? Actually, the bushings are right here. This one's already been fixed. On the stock swing arm, the bushings inside are pretty bad. They fail within a couple hours and your swing arm starts moving back and forth in the frame. Yeah, not a good design. I bought a heavy duty swing arm for this guy with heavy duty bushings already installed. It's cheap. I mean, 50, 75 bucks. I don't know. It was cheap. But it's 100% improvement over what comes on the bike. And that swing arm is 2 inches longer than normal, I believe. So I had to extend the chain, and then it's got upside down forks. He's kind of tricked out. He's made for my fat butt. That's made for my wife's little butt. But yeah, you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you next time.
Target locked. Enemy vehicle destroyed.